Hello, welcome back to Oldham Community Radio with me, Samuel Dunn, and my good mate, Zeny Bux.
Hi.
Okay, so Zeny is a Britpop artist and guitarist in the Oldham area. And, tell us a little bit about you, Zeny.
I'm smiling so much. I'm Zeny Bux, local artist from Oldham. Really glad to be on here, Sam.
Amazing. And correct me if I'm wrong, obviously, but you released your EP, Better Dreams?
It's not an EP. It's a single. My first ever proper single after standing on the edge of the world.
Very, very sorry.
It's okay. Better Dreams. You know, it got quite a lot of attention on Spotify. About 2,678 streams. 2,678 streams. I think that's like how many streams it went on there. So yeah.
Can we ask about your background? So how you started guitar?
Yeah. So it all started back in school. In Newbridge, which I went to, which I had a horrible time there. And it was an after-school club type of session thing, and my teacher, my music teacher, he said to me that, if you want to, come on down, to the music, to the music room, for a little jam session, like an after-school rock band session thing, and you could be the singer and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. And he also said to me that I could be a guitarist as well. And so at first I tried out singing. We did stuff like AC/DC, Linkin Park, Elvis, etc.
Yeah, just the traditional covers.
All the traditional ones, yeah. And so I went there. We did a few songs, even a famous Tom Petty song, quite a well-known one, Free Fallin'. We did that, and then for me, I wanted to shake things up a bit. I want to like take
every natural musician.
Yeah, of course. I want to take things up a notch and start like picking up the guitar and playing, because just before I was into all Oasis and whatnot, I used to be into a lot of pop stuff too. So back in because obviously I was born in 2005 and I grew up with a lot of TV shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was quite a Disney Channel person back then. I was quite a big fan. So I used to listen to a lot of...
Do you think Disney... Sorry, do you think... I didn't mean to...
No, it's okay, it's okay.
But do you think Disney Channel inspired you to be maybe looking up to the artists on that?
I suppose, yeah, you could say that, yeah. So I used to watch this show back in the days, well, many shows, but this show called Jonas, which involves around the Jonas Brothers, and... their music, sort of it inspired me, and mostly girls, right, in their own vision, their own point of view, they're just focusing on how hot the brothers are, and I'm only focusing on the guitars they use, the songs they've written, all that stuff, the style, and I just sort of took on that inspiration. I just wanted to do some pop stuff,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And I was also into a lot of stuff like Ed Sheeran and Shawn Mendes, etc. And then, one of my cousins introduced me to Oasis, and that's when things
really kicked in.
Yeah, then it sort of kicked in. Yeah.
I was gonna say, talking about your cousins and stuff, do you think family has supported you with your musical career? It's fine, be honest.
Yeah, I mean? pretty much. Some of them. Well, majority of them. Some of them have supported me. Some of them have not. I don't really want to go into full detail about it, but
don't go into full detail if you don't feel comfortable going into full detail.
No, yeah, of course, but yeah.
But no, that's amazing. What else? That's not very professional of me.
No, it's fine.
But no, that's. fair enough. Where would you say that well, we can drop the ends out. But where would you say that you, do you think, how would I say this? Do you think Indian Britpop as a whole, if we're going into that factor of it, what would you say that, who's your favourite Indian Britpop artist? I know there's a lot, and that's like saying, well, what's your favourite?
No, I'm more than happy to answer that question. I've been waiting for that question for, since I wanted to be interviewed on the radio. My favourite artist, Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher.
Oldie but Goldie.
Yeah, still rock and rolly. But yeah, Liam Gallagher, man. And there's like other influential musicians too that I look up to, like John Squire of the Stone Roses. He's one of my top favourite guitarists of all time.
Stones are very Manchester.
Stone Roses, yeah, the Roses, Manchester.
When I as a musician myself, when I'm talking to fellow musicians, I go, well, do you know where like the indie scene is now? And most people go, or anyone actually, they go, I think Manchester because of the Smiths and because of Joy Division, and Stone Roses. But actually, studies show that bit of a fact here is that it's actually in America, in New York.
Yeah. So some of them, some indie stuff, that they're everywhere actually. New York, Canada, everywhere in America. Yeah. Well, mostly in America, right?
Well, if you look at the Pixies, I don't mean to interrupt.
It's okay.
If you look at the Pixies and other artists in America, good indie artists in America, the Killers.
The Killers, yeah, the Killers, man. They did lots of stuff with Johnny Marr and whatnot, and Liam Gallagher. The Killers, man. They're amazing. They're incredible. I look up a lot. I look up to them quite a lot. With their songs such as like Mr. Brightside and Somebody Told Me, and all that stuff, man. Yeah.
Definitely. So going back to yourself, what was the next step? Obviously, I know you can't like full on like. But where would you want your career to head?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I'm also looking forward to like playing bigger shows next year. Like, at the minute I've got like gigs such as the Old School Barbecue Bus, which is next week actually.
Yeah. So you heard it here first, folks. If you want to go pop down to the Old School Barbecue Bus in Failsworth.
Yep, Failsworth.
In Failsworth, then you'll get to meet Zeny in person.
Yeah, you can do that. Free entry. Come on down. Yeah, and
sneaky little promotion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sam. And I've also got another gig in December in Watersheddings. So
are you going to change the setup, or are you going to do your original? Do you want to go do more Christmassy stuff? Or?
Actually, yeah. I was just about to say, since it's December, duh.
It's
so
it's where it's coming into.
Of course, I'm going to be doing some Christmas songs.
Slade,
Slade. Wham, whatnot, all that stuff, man. Yeah.
Definitely.
Lots of things should come through, by next year. Hopefully, we'll all be taking on the world, and hopefully I'll start doing bigger shows like Manchester Academy, Deaf Institute. What do you call it now? What's the other one? Deaf Institute, Manchester Academy. There's many, even some like well-known local Manchester bars and places such as Retro Bar, which I have gigged there like last year. I've gigged there before last year, and
going to the Deaf Institute, if you don't mind me asking, can you explain a little bit about it, if that's okay for our listeners?
Yeah, of course. The Deaf Institute, they had like many musicians there that I've heard. They had people like Johnny Marr. They had Lee Mathers.
Wow. Very big names then.
Yeah, very big names.
Very good for your career if you'll get like well known.
Of course, yeah.
Promotion.
Definitely.
As a musician, it's always good to promote your stuff.
Of course, yeah. Too right. But yeah, the Deaf Institute. That's a place that I'm, quite interested in playing. And well, mainly it's the Manchester Academy. Either 1, 2, or 3. I'm not really bothered as long as it's the Manchester Academy. Then yeah, I play there.
Well, there's 3, isn't there?
Yeah. There's 3.
I was in a class one day at my college, and I turned around to my course leader and went, "So how many Manchester Academies are there?" And he goes, "I said, what are they actually called? They can't, you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
I was like, 1, 2, and 3. I was like, oh, fair enough. I was like, oh, fair enough. That's a bit simple.
Yeah.
Going to your instruments then and your setup.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because you're an artist, you've got a home studio.
Yes. It's quite small. It's a very small home studio, but it does the trick otherwise,
Right.
Like, nevertheless, it still does the trick,
Can you tell us what equipment you use in your home studio?
Yes. I have a 2010 iMac.
It's still an iMac,
It's still an iMac, as long as it works, and it works, yeah. A 2010 iMac. I have I use a Shure SM58. For vocals and whatnot, and at the minute it's broken now, even though it still works. But now I use like a microphone that's it's sort of like it's one of those off-brand ones. Well, they're called tenor.
Well, you can't. I was talking to someone, and I was saying, well, what's the difference between a £2,000 microphone and a microphone that you can get off eBay or Amazon for 16 quid? And they're like, well, you can't really tell the difference, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might, obviously the microphones that we're using now, they're expensive, but sometimes you can't really tell maybe the quality of the microphone, but the sound and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not really virtually any difference, to be honest. Maybe.
I mean, yeah. When it comes to using microphones, they can come across as good quality, or they can easily be damaged after a month or two if you use it too much, or something like that. But yeah, with microphones, I mostly look out for the ones that are at the minute, I'm using a tenor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Tenor microphones. It does the trick. For voiceover work and just all that stuff, man. It does the work.
So apart from being a musician, we'll go on to this other thing then, aren't we, Mr. Zeny Bux?
Yeah.
This is Duckburg.
Yeah. This is Duckburg.
Tell us a little bit about that and how you integrate your musicianship and playing into kind of a fan recreation of a successful TV show.
Yes, it's a fan series. This Duckburg is a fan series of DuckTales, a 2017 reboot of the show that was from 1987, and I just sort of took inspiration from it. Was
it already a thing, or did you kind of back off it, or did you create This is Duckburg, or how did you kind of...
So what I did with This is Duckburg, so I've been wanting to get my my original character, or otherwise known as an OC, or a duck soner, called Squire Duck, who I...
a duck soner?
Yeah, duck soner, yeah, which I've... Squire, who I voice and who I've drawn and created.
Yeah. So you're a very artisty kind of person.
Yeah, I'm a cartoonist, yeah. I'm not just a musician artist, I'm a drawing artist too.
It's good to have split things, because obviously music gets a little bit obviously being a musician myself as well, when I'm obviously that I play bass and trumpet, playing that, and also when you're and I'm also in a band doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mean to steal your fun.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But start where am I going with this? With that, and as a musician, you kind of get little mental blocks sometimes. And it's very how do I say? challenging sometimes.
Yeah, but with This Is Duckburg, I mostly do like a lot of script writing, obviously, voice acting and all. I wrote songs for it. Like, at the minute, I'm working on a Christmas special. And, it's really fun, doing these types of cartoons. I've always wanted to do, like, any voice acting work and whatnot, and just,
Have
you
ever thought of pursuing that with a career? Career?
Yeah.
Have you thought about that, or, yeah?
Voice acting career, I'm interested in doing that, I mean, at first, I was, interested in going on, like, Coronation Street, doing, like, like, scenes of, like, busking or something like that.
Yeah, no, didn't, cascading into that, you did a little, back in 2020?
2020.
You did you were an extra in Waterloo Road, weren't you?
No. I wasn't an extra. What, an extra on Waterloo Road? No, who said that? No, I was going to be an extra on Waterloo Road. That was like this year. It was going to happen this year around back in like January, February time. No, yeah, it was January time.
Yes.
And unfortunately, when I was in Oldham College studying music, and it was a, pain in the backside. And I didn't really get the chance to go on it because, well, before I sort of like dropped out because, there was a few problems over there that I don't want to discuss.
No, very much so.
And but yeah, Waterloo Road,
well, let's move out of this thing then. Besides, have you thought about like maybe applying for casting agencies of like Netflix or something like that? I know they're looking for very certain types of people.
I actually did get signed up for a casting agency. 2 of them actually. Three of them actually.
Do you know the names?
Yeah, one of them was at first it was Mint Casting, which was in Manchester, and unfortunately they couldn't take me on because, well, I didn't really understood what they said, but they said to me that it was something to do with these people. There's like different. There's like the same. Not the same. It was like there was people that looked something like that. I don't know why. I actually can't remember now. It was something to do with people having the same skin tone of me or something like the same hair or something like that. People that sort of look like me. I don't know, but it sort of like confused me. And like I tried WhatsApping Nathan, the guy who runs it all, but he then blocked me. And like,
that's not very good for their
no,
business.
That's unprofessional. And
is it?
Yeah, let me explain though, like why.
Please go.
Yeah, so I got a bit confused, and I just asked him like what was going on, and the fact that when I was in the meeting with him, he said to me that don't hesitate to WhatsApp me or just to text me, call me or whatever, and even when I just WhatsApp him, he just blocked me, and so
that shows a lot about him and how.
Unprofessional.
Musicians kind of get the short end of the stick sometimes. Well, in this business in general, not just musicians. Like anyone in media, stuff like that, we kind of get the short end of the stick sometimes.
Yeah. It was actually a casting agency. Yeah. And then the other one, which was called Stark Agency. That was. That was all the way somewhere in London, and I thought they would be in Manchester, but I said to them, sorry, I don't think I'm able to come down. You can just rip up my application then. And then the last one that was this year, this year. I was going to be working with people from America and Canada.
Oh wow!
And they were in Manchester as well, and I had to like step down from it because I had to like pay something to do training and whatnot for. Like,
as a musician, income is hard.
It is hard, you have to pay to like get through with your journey.
No, you very much do.
Yeah.
With studios and stuff, it's very like, it's up to like 300, 400 quid upwards.
Yeah, but that over there, right, they were charging like £1,000 to £2,000, £1,900 or something like that. That's like 1,900 quid, or was it 15? I can't remember, but yeah.
Sometimes it's just what you have to do to kind of progress.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and I didn't
know. It might
know.
not be a good way, but it has to be.
Yeah, I just didn't know what to do about like with money and whatnot, like because also with speaking of at the minute, it's quite hard for like not only just me but for other musicians out there locally to like get gigs booked and whatnot, because some places are booked for the full year. Some of them, like, I don't even have a part-time job.
No, well, that's like, I mean. I mean, myself speaking and other 16 to 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
In our how do I say this? In our generation.
Yeah.
Kind of came out eventually. But in our generation, it's struggle not just like struggle financially, but also struggle like making the dreams come true as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people might want to be in our situation going, oh, I want to be on radio, or I want to play with people and, get a band together and get other stuff and get, a record label signing and stuff like that, and ongoing stuff. And it's quite hard to be in the music industry, especially in 2023. It really is hard, yeah. And technology has arisen, and your job can just go like that.
That is true. That's true, yeah.
And as I said, it's very like hard, but it's also like, as I said, it's a bit frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Well, what am I going on to now? What guitars?
Guitars, yeah.
Guitars,
yeah. I have a guitar right here, right now.
It's gone.
Yeah, this is my Epiphone J200, inspired by Gibson. It does the trick, But and also, actually, fun fact about this, right? I got this second hand off Facebook Marketplace.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
because it's very dodgy, Facebook Marketplace sometimes.
They are dodgy, but the guy was actually so he sold this guitar. He was going to sell it for about 400 quid, but I priced it down to like 370.
Yeah.
And he was like okay with it. He was a pretty sound guy, and he brought it down to my house. I gave him the money.
Was he locally then?
No, he was. I think he lived up in Openshaw somewhere.
Oh,
I don't know. So yeah.
Well, pretty locally.
Nice. I guess, yeah. And but there was something wrong with the guitar. I took it to a gig one time. I was supporting a band called The Information Highway. Shout out to Lee Keiter. And there was something wrong with the guitar. There was something wrong with like the Pezio inside. And so I had to take it to a guitar shop, that's just down the road, called Music Direct Limited. And shout out to John Stewart, by the way. He's the guitar technician. He does a magnificent job. But yeah, he sorted it out for me just for a tenner. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it does the trick, I just always polish it. I always keep it in a case, I'm just...
Of course.
Yeah.
Is that you need to treat musical instruments like they're your child.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah.
And so, it's just a bit like, you need to treat them like it's your precious thing. And as I said, I've had little interactions with people on Facebook Marketplace, being a brass player, and people are selling trumpets on there, and cornets, and mouthpieces, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I got a mouthpiece for free once off a chap called Ian Dickman. Hello, Ian, if you're watching. And yeah, at first I thought it was a complete utter scam, and I was like, a Dennis Wick that costs around £80, £90, and you're thinking, why would this man give a 16-year-old kid a Dennis Wick mouthpiece for free? And I thought that was very dodgy. And I thought, well, it's for free, it's a gamble, it's not like I'm paying a certain amount of money for this mouthpiece. Might as well just go. And it showed up 3 days later, and it was magical, and it was like, oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well. And I said, you need, as musicians in general, have you thought about what, so obviously you're on Epiphone.
Yeah.
I've ever thought, because you talk, well, off air, off the pre-recording, you've told me that you're not a very Fendery, Stratocaster-y guy.
No, I'm not. I'm you know, I mean, see, the thing is, right, with Fender guitars, Stratocasters and whatnot, etc., you know, I think they're all overrated. I just think, you know, just for some reason, right, I just don't have this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've owned like 2 Stratocasters back in the, you know, in the past before, and they were sounding, they were good sounding, but then again though, it didn't really sound really good, you know, the strings didn't really feel good.
Yeah.
Only if I'm playing or picking right. Say if I'm going to a studio and like, you know, people recommend me a Stratocaster that's like in good quality and is, you know, is good for like recording, then I take it, you know, because if it does the job, you know, if it gives great sounding and good, you know, good like, you know, high frequency, then I'd take it then, you know, I'd take it. I'd, you know, just play.
Definitely.
But, you know, I wouldn't, like, own a Stratocaster, let alone, like, play it on stage, because it just doesn't really, it doesn't make me, you know, it just makes me a bit uncomfortable. I don't know why, but it just makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm more of a Les Paul person.
Yeah, Les Pauls are very amazing.
Yeah.
They're very clean.
They really are. They are, yeah. And I have a Les Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An Epiphone Les Paul.
It's an Epiphone, yeah, and it's you know, it's this guitar came out in 2021, and my Epiphone Les Paul came out in 2020, or I think 2021 as well.
Yeah.
And that was around the year when I've got the guitar. You know, it was like second hand, I'm guessing, or brand. No, actually, no. I don't think it was second hand. I got it brand new from cash converters in Bury. You know, so yeah. And it does the trick and all. It really does the trick, so yeah. And I just always keep it immaculated and clean in its case, just how it should be, so yeah.
Talking about cases, I think, or maybe it might be an unpopular opinion, some people might think, oh my god, he's dead on. But as a musician myself, I've said that about like 50 times now. Right, hey listen, it's fine, this is how we do, but hey ho, going back to what I was saying, yeah. How am I saying this? Sorry, my brain.
Take your time, Sam. Take your time.
You feel like you're interviewing me now. Yeah. So I'll carry on.
Hard cases.
Hard cases. Yes. If an instrument is in a case, and you're a bit like, you sat in your bed and you're thinking, do I want to play this? And you're a bit like, I don't know. But if it's out on display, then you kind of get the gravitate. You kind of gravitate and go, Sometimes, like, personal experience, I'm kind of sitting in my bed and I'm looking at my room's laid out. I've got my Martin Smith acoustic on an altar.
Yeah.
I've got my bass on a stand near my amplifier.
Yeah.
My Lenny. And it's very most musicians think, well, you know, it's very much like it's like, how do I say this? It's more eye-catching.
Yeah.
And people think, well, you know, if it's out on a mantelpiece or something like that, from personal experience, you think, well, you know, I want to play it. And it makes you pick it up because it's more eye-catching and appealing to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experience that yourself.
Yeah, of course. I've always experienced things, you know, that are quite eye-catching to me because I have a condition, you know, I have autism.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think that influences your music, having disability?
I think it does, yeah. You know, like, it's hard for an autistic person to, like, go through a lot of hate and all. It's very hard, you know, because, like, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, like, autistic people, you know, like, autism can't stop me from doing music, and it can never stop, like, any other autistic person to do something with their lives as well. Yeah. Either if they want to be a musician or a constructor or a carpenter, etc., you know, autism cannot stop us. You know, it's only like a disability.
It's like if we're talking about music scenes now.
Yeah.
obviously the music scene business. I'm going to talk a bit closer. The music scene business is very like music in 2023 in general is very like, how do I say, violently focused.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really, like, I know a lot of underground indie bands
Yeah.
that are kind of struggling because of the push towards electronic music.
Yeah.
The push towards, let's do some, like, in 2023 it's so simple, like, you can go on Logic and create a simple beat.
Yeah.
On pattern region and MIDI region and stuff like that, or Sibelius, or so many doors.
Yeah.
Reason and Ableton and stuff like that. FL Studio.
BandLab.
BandLab.
That's what I use. I use that for recording and whatnot, and for like recording lines for This Is Duckburg and all. So yeah.
BandLab. I've had a dabble in BandLab myself, and I think BandLab's it's like, how do I say? It's like GarageBand. If anyone's ever like.
Yeah, I've used GarageBand. Yeah.
GarageBand.
I've used it on my phone.
And Logic's the big brother of GarageBand.
Yeah.
That's what I use in college and education settings. I had a 2-year experience in Sibelius, and I thought that was very hard because, as a musician and in brass banding,
yeah.
I can read music to a certain extent, but it's the high octave notes that kind of trip me up.
Yeah.
And it's very, when I'm in brass band or I'm doing a brass band concert or anything like that, or playing carols at Christmas or hymns or whatever.
Yeah.
Normally fine, but now and again, it's just a little bit like, you know what I mean? And I said, like, Sibelius kind of limits you a little bit in my own eyes.
Yeah, it does.
Like looking at staves, I think staves in general are very very frightening to look at.
Yeah.
Coming from a not classical musician, but a bit more old, like not mainstream.
Yeah.
I've just come into the mainstream musician.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. Practice makes perfect.
So I'm a cornet player, if anyone doesn't know, and I've a couple of months ago I've started on bass. And people go to me, well, Sam, what? Well, I've rebranded it. I've kind of gone, well, I don't collect instruments anymore, I hoard them. It's very much like that. And I've just got like saxophone, I've got to bring a saxophone today that I've actually got it off loan from my mum's work colleagues. It's made in Italy.
Bellissimo.
Yeah, and I think the guy paid $1,200 for it.
Wow. So is it second hand?
No, he went to he went himself on a gap year to where was it now? To Venice and got it customly made.
Oh right. Good stuff, man. Yeah, awesome.
Going back to you.
Yeah.
So yeah. I said it's going back to the indie scene in general. Actually,
yeah.
I think it's very sad because a lot of underground indie artists kind of like disappearing off the map a little bit.
Yeah, they are. The thing is, Sam, right? The thing is, right? Music nowadays, it's not good. It's really not good. You get people wearing balaclavas on the streets, acting like they're big and tough.
It is, and it's very stupid.
Yeah, they carry around machetes, and do you know what all that's from? Do you know where all that's from? It's not coming from it's all coming from the way the parents treat their children, right? It's not only just that.
Because of sorry, I don't mean to interject, but I think it's because of how society is today.
It is, yeah.
Kind of, and people go, I wanna be like this person who's gone to prison.
Yeah.
And done an horrendous crime.
Yeah. But it's not only just that, Sam. It's not only just that. It's all coming from drill music.
It is. Drill music, I think drill music is very, very, how do I say, violent and angry.
It is. Violence, and it's just,
very angry. And I think people that listen. Music is people's opinions.
Yeah.
We have our own opinion. You have your own opinion.
Of course,
I have my
yeah.
own opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own opinions on music.
Yeah, of course.
But I think drill's just. I think 2023 in the music genre and the music world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people can go on. Right, I like Elton John. You know what I mean? I love Elton John that much that I will put a beat on Logic and basically take a snippet from, I don't know, I'm Still Standing,
Yeah.
and rehash it and rap over it. Yeah, that might be to other people in the music world very inventive, but there's a lot of stuff that are like, well, that's not like anyone could do that. My mum could do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't mean to be so very like, but like it's not. It's impressive, but it's just, yeah. It's very, how do I say? Yeah.
Yeah, just drill music, man. It just all leads to like this. This is why this generation is so bad.
No, I mean it's not bad. It's.
I think it's bad. I think it's just horrible. It's horrifically bad,
Sam.
Sam.
To their own opinions, innit?
Yeah, of course. You know, I'm just saying what I need to say. This generation is bad. End of.
It's very like the generation is very. We've got snowflakes and people.
Coronation Street fans.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of snowflakes, them. But
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, anyone in 2023 can be a snowflake. To be
Yeah,
honest.
they all can
Like,
be.
If I went on Twitter is.
Twitter.
Oh,
you know.
it's not Twitter now, is it? It's X.
X. I don't care what Elon Musk says. I honestly don't care. Like I still see X as Twitter. I don't
think
care.
I think everyone's in your shoes, any to be
Honestly,
honest.
I don't care. I mean, why would he even change Twitter to X anyways? What does X even mean?
I don't know.
There's no meaning towards it. Just keep Twitter as how it is, right? Like how it was before. Like it successfully, you know, did so well in the past. Like, you know, since 2006.
Yeah.
So, you know,
definitely.
why Elon? Just why?
Yeah. I mean,
It's really daft that.
I mean, we can't change the future.
No, we can't. Only God can.
Aye. Do you think your biblical how do I say, upbringing?
My biblical reliefs, like you know, my religion.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think it influences you as an artist and how, like, have you ever, like, worked, well, I don't really want to get into the specifics, but have you ever, like, worked with anyone that you think, my religion says no? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, well, I have worked with many musicians, you know, some of them actually, that, you know, that doesn't really involve with, like, you know, my religion. Obviously it's like nothing bad, you know. I've only worked with musicians who like do recordings. Like when I recorded Better Dreams, you know, I did it with someone called Luke Owens, another shout out to him. But yeah, I've worked with him, you know, really professional at, you know, sound engineering and whatnot. So yeah, big ups for Luke. And you know, yeah, like it doesn't really affect me, you know, as long as they're good people and they're professional in music, then yeah, they seem to be all right. But you know, I do look up to, like, there are musicians out there who are, like, you know, Muslims as well themselves, like, as you know, they're like, they have like their own religion as me, you know, like there are some Islamic musicians out there like Aziz Ibrahim, who I'm, you know, I used to be good friends with him, but I'm not anymore. But you know, and there's also Cat Stevens. And there's Tajinder Singh, but I think he's like, you know, I don't know whether if he's like Indian or something, because you know, he did like lots of Punjabi stuff and Hindu music and whatnot, and he was in a band called Corner Shop. So yeah, I do take an influence to that. So yeah.
So we'll talk about bands then.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever thought? Obviously, you're solo now, but have you ever thought? Obviously. Working with musicians.
Well,
maybe don't go into the specifics, but like, yeah.
Well, I did had a band before. You know, we were called Toneside, and you know, we were doing so well. I had like different members in, and you know, before, like back in like January 2022, sorry. You know, yeah, like a year before that, actually, I started getting good people in, and it worked pretty well. The drummer's incredible, and the rhythm guitarist. I only asked him to play like bar chords and power chords because, I want to be influenced by Oasis, and
Yeah.
just feel like boneheads in the band, and the bass player as well. He's awesome. He was awesome too, but we all split up now. We're split now because
I mean, every band has their
they have their own differences, don't they?
Definitely,
But the reason why, it was due to musical differences. Like apparently, the drummer wanted new indie music, because I was like wanting to look at the classic indie rock music style, but he was into like different stuff like the Blossoms and whatnot.
Everyone's got the differences.
Everyone's got the differences. They just.
I mean, from experience and being in a band and shifting from brass band more to indie post-pop punk.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's very like everyone needs to be on the same page if you want it to work.
Yeah, of course. If you want a band, you all got to work together, and we did, but
Of course.
I guess nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
And we're also friends. We haven't fell out. We haven't fallen out at all. They've all went into their own way. That they've got into a band now.
In their own separate ways and kind of kept the music alive in a way.
Yeah, and I did want it to continue, so I wanted to get different people in in my band, but then I decided to just like give up and then just move on to to solo, and it's doing me quite well, even though it's quite hard at the minute, to get gigs booked and all, but it's doing me quite well. I've released a single, got another one that's due to be out in November, and I'm just living life, So yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, have you got any advice for future anyone who's in our position that we are both in as musicians? Would you give advice? What advice would you give to them?
That's a good question. That I suppose maybe take a look at musicians such as I don't know what style you want to be in, for music. So whatever you look at, just take a good look at it. Keep watching as many videos as you can, and just take a bit of inspiration in your pocket. Just take it to your pocket, and then just start picking it up from there. And just take as much inspiration as you can, and just have a lot of influence in you. Don't give up. Just keep digging. Just keep digging deep, and soon you'll start to find yourself somewhere. And it's hard. It really is hard, but you just got to keep going. You can't stop. You can never stop.
No.
Just keep doing as much as you can, and that's what I do. I just do as much as I can. So I'm rooting for anyone out there who's trying to get into the industry.
I would say my advice is, folks, is that don't. As said, I will back off Zeny and say don't give up. And I will also say that younger musicians or older musicians, do you know what I mean? Anyone who's going into the music industry, find yourself in a way. And me and Zeny, we've had breakdowns, we've had issues, and stuff like that. We've had to face a lot of stuff. I took a year out of playing to focus on myself a little bit, and to focus in what direction I really wanted to go. And then he struggles.
There's a lot of struggle. Anger.
If you don't mind me saying.
No, anger, depression, anxiety. I thought that I was going to be going on medication. I thought to myself, maybe I should go on medication like antidepressants or what's this medication called? That a mate, one of my best friends, have recommended it to me. Melatonin. I don't know if I pronounce it properly, melatonin. But
as said, I think you just need to dig deep in yourself and realise you are talented. You are a talented individual.
Yeah.
And you need to, 20 years or 30 years on from now, you'll look back and think, you might think, oh my gosh, what was I doing? Or you might think, oh my gosh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the man that I once was a very successful, talented person. And I think the younger generation and our younger generation needs to kind of, how do I say, like, look at, like, basically, our generation needs to kind of think, look more, like, less violent. We need to look not look at artists that paint music in a bad light, and look towards more, how do I say, artists with a better image.
Yeah.
And maybe some people might go no, and a lot of people go maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe that's very controversial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, because a lot of the youth nowadays are very angry and annoyed at society and go.
Yeah. And I don't blame them. That's why, people are doing bad stuff all the time on the streets. I don't blame them at all. I don't even blame like, the adults as well, because they go through a lot. They go through a lot of like stuff from home or in the past, so I don't blame them at all. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, as I said, before we end, Zeny, do you want to say anything else?
Yes, I do. I've got quite a lot to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to my friends, also known as the cast of This Is Duckburg. I want to give a shout out to Sage Milner, who plays as Della, Glendy N. Vasquez, who plays as Lena on the show, Gesundheit. And I want to give a shout out to Starkey Jedi, who plays as himself, Stark. I want to give a shout out to Dylan Higley, who plays as himself. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to, an incredible singer and a, good friend of mine, Izzy Sultan, who plays as Lennon. And I'm just hoping, just big things come sooner for the future, and just like life-wise, for everyone out there, keep a small circle, all right? Like with me, I like to disappear for a little while, because it helps me cleanse my mind quite a lot, and it makes my life a lot more therapeutic than it should be. Yeah, so I like to keep it like that. I like to keep myself private, and I like to keep myself a bit of a I like to be reclusive, and I just like to keep have a bit of obscurity in me. I like to fade into obscurity. So that's why I'm inspired by Lee Mathers and Rennie of the Stone Roses. So yeah. I guess that's about it from here then, is it?
Yeah, I would say so as well.
Thank you very much, Sam.
So, you've been listening to Oldham Community Radio. I've been Samuel Dunn, and you've been listening to myself and Zeny Bux, who is, the next upcoming.
Yeah.
Would you want, like, if you want to listen to any of Zeny's music, please feel free to drop him a follow on Instagram, which is
Zeny Bux.
Aye, and his TikTok.
Definitely Zeny or Zeny Bux. Well, I'm actually going to be leaving TikTok in December. I don't know if you know Sam.
Yeah.
But I've actually got quite of a name on TikTok. Like even like with the busking outside of the Cortinas gig this year, and it was really, really hot. But yeah, I had many people come up to me, taking pictures, shaking my hand, saying that they're big fans and they love me. So yeah, power to the people. Love yous all so much. So yeah.
And apart from that, that is us today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening in and tuning in. And you've been listening to Oldham Community Radio.
Yep.
Ta-ra now.
Been a pleasure.